Hi guys, welcome. If you're new, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. My name's McKenna. I help others come back into connection and safety within their vessels and in their beings, and help understand that communication of our bodies and beings with ourselves as well as with others. So today we're here with a Kundalini Yoga flow. This is going to be definitely very activating. At any time you kind of feel a lot of emotions, heaviness, anything like that, if it ever gets to be too much, know that you can always pause this practice. You can always just slow down wherever you are in the practice and begin to just kind of pull back and out of it until you come into a more stable feeling, if you will. And know that happens to me often. I think sometimes we get discouraged if we're not able to finish a practice or anything like that, or follow along exactly, and know that with Kundalini it is so personal, and I highly recommend you just listen to your body. These are all invitations of guidance for you, but they are not commands, they are not demands. So listen to your body. When we're working with the Kundalini, we are working with our Shakti energy, our feminine energy. We are working with the masculine as well, but we are working to ignite that Shakti energy from our roots up the spine. And I really want you to embody that femininity through that intuition. If something's not right for you, wait until the next posture begins, or whatever it may be. So without further ado, I am going to just invite us to come down into a nice seated position, whatever that may look like for you. Legs crossed, legs out wide, removing the flesh from underneath your sits bones. And just beginning to shut the eyes down now. Just beginning to turn into the breath. Just noticing the breath as it is right now. Not trying to force shift or change or expansion, but just notice exactly where it is. Beginning to move into the breath up in through the nose, expanding the belly and chest on the inhales. Open mouth exhales. Again, inhaling through the nose, expanding the belly and then the chest. Open mouth exhales, letting the chest and the belly decompress. Just scanning the body, noticing how it feels in this time and moment and space right now. And just beginning to bring your palms to touch in front of heart center. Beginning to rub the palms together vigorously. Quickly, really creating some heat in between those palms. And coming to stillness when you're ready, placing palms in front of heart center. Remaining active, keeping the elbows long and straight. Pressing the thumbs up into the heart space. Connecting with that gland, with that thyroid. And again, just scanning the body here. As you say hello, share awareness in your body. Just noticing what's arising as we bring presence. Just breathing into the spine now. Inhaling in, allowing fresh oxygen to come all the way to the base of the spine. And open mouth exhales, letting it all go, surrendering right now. And on your next exhale, releasing the palms, fluttering the eyes open. And we're just going to begin this class together with 3 ohms. When we om, we typically think O-M, but it's actually 3 syllables, A-U-M. And it looks like ah, and the U looks like ooh, and M is mm. Nice hum with our lips pressed together. I want you to really emphasize each phase of om, if you will, each syllable as you're working through this. So we're just going to begin with a nice long breath, big breath in, nice long breath out, and nice inhale in, and beginning to om. And again, and emphasizing each of those syllables once again. One last time. And just breathing in here, recognizing maybe some new sensations flowing about just as we activate the voice. Begin to connect with our vessel, our being. And just coming back to the space, letting your eyes open. When we're working with the Kundalini energy, when we're working with energy in general, right now we're working to activate that Kundalini, to move it up the body, move it through the body. The best way to move energy is breath, sound, and movement. So it's why these things often are such heavy core principles within Kundalini practices as well. One immediate movement to kind of begin to activate the Kundalini is Kegels. Oftentimes in this Western medicine culture, we don't really talk about Kegels only in the context for women and sometime during pregnancy or after, but truth is, Kegels are beneficial for both sexes, all sexes, depending on where you are in life. It might, yes, maybe be more beneficial than others, but they're always within benefit. So I always recommend doing Kegels in general. But one really prominent place that I do Kegels is when I'm working with my Kundalini. So for men, it's kind of the muscles that you use to start and stop urinating. But what I always tell people is to begin to kind of open and close the butt. You'll start to differentiate between the sex muscles and the butt muscles. And what we're working with is that perineum and working to create kind of movements in those sexual muscles areas. And what we're doing is creating direct movement within that Kundalini. Our Kundalini lies dormant at our root chakra at the base of the spine until activated and awoken. During this time, I will mention doing a root lock. And what I'm talking about is engaging in a Kegel and then using your tongue at the roof of your mouth, pressing to the top of the roof of your mouth and the back of your teeth. When you inhale in, and at the top of the breath, you then do the Kegel, close the mouth, creating this lock. This is called Mula Bandha lock. And on your exhale, you release, allowing the energy to begin to travel up the spine, travel this pathway of the Kundalini. So we're just going to begin to practice Mula Bandha breath and Mula Bandha lock right now for a few. And when I mention a root lock, I'm letting you know of creating that lock within the body. And if you don't want to engage at the top with the mouth, that's totally fine. Really focusing on this strong base can be a really great foundation to begin at. So just to begin, we're going to inhale, audible exhale, really releasing, letting go of the body, maybe even shaking out a little. And just beginning to really stack the spine straight. Become firm within your sits bones as you do so. So pressing the belly button towards the back of the spine as you engage that core. We're just gonna inhale in. And at the top of the inhale, I'm gonna invite you to do a Kegel. Close the mouth, press the tongue to the roof of the mouth and the back of the teeth, creating this lock. And exhale, releasing. Inhaling at the top of the breath, doing a Kegel, creating a lock at the top of the roof of the mouth as well. And exhaling, letting go. And just trying at your own pace of breath. Let's do 5 rounds of Mula Bandha lock. About 5 rounds. Creating a nice lock, hold, hold, hold. Exhale, releasing, staying firm in your posture and seated position. And inhaling in, creating that root lock. Exhale, letting it go. Inhale, creating that lock. Exhale, let it go. Doing one last one. Holding as long as you can at the top of the breath, really locking strong here. Exhale, release and let it go. So you will hear me refer to that root lock often, and this is what I'm talking about. And if you're looking to immediately, quickly activate and connect with the Kundalini energy, try Kegels. If you're in an afternoon down funk from energy, try Kegels. No one knows that you're doing it. You could be at your desk at work, you could be at the grocery store, and you will begin to connect with this Kundalini. Connect with this energy that's always active or always dormant within us until we activate it, helping us become a little bit feeling of more lively and so forth. So just to begin, we are going to start with some spinal flexes. So I'm going to have us stay in this nice seated position and whatever that might mean. Personally, for me, I like to bring my hands on top of my knees. Again, aligning the spine straight up. I like to do that root lock at first. It really creates that stable ground base. And even if you aren't doing the Kegel to lock, as long as you kind of create that motion and let go of the Kegel, that stable base stays in place. As we begin to move through the rest of this practice, we're going to begin to introduce breath in and out the nose. I recommend maybe pausing and going and getting a tissue, as Kundalini can be very draining to the sinuses, and you may be snotting a little bit on yourself. We will move into breath of fire, which is a little bit faster pace in and out the nose, but all I ask is that you stay very intentional of that in and out the nose. So with these spinal flexes, we're just going to begin to inhale, bringing our chest forward, beginning to pull our shoulder blades and the back body behind us together. As I do this, I kind of like to let my hands slide up my legs as I pull those shoulders together. And we're inhaling in as we push that chest forward. And as we exhale, we're going to begin to round at the top of the back, those shoulders. But keeping a flat chin. So we're going to inhale, opening the chest. Exhale, rounding forward. Inhale, exhale. Just beginning to move at a little bit slower of a pace right now. Just beginning to ease into the body, activate and awaken it. As I said, I kind of like to let my hands glide up and down the legs as I create this motion. And at any point, please feel not to the possibility, if you don't feel the possibility to follow my breath, please don't. If I am moving too fast for you, or if you want to move a little bit faster, again, use your intuition. Use your body as your guide. If you ever start to get lightheaded, I ask that you start to slow the breath down, begin to take longer, bigger breaths, and either come back to the practice once you've kind of neutralized, or just pause until we finish that practice. So I'm going to begin to move into this faster pace. I'm also going to turn this way so that you guys can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. But what we'll be doing here is I'm going to begin at the slower pace, and then I'm going to move into the pace of breath of fire. If you've never done breath of fire before, what we will be doing is breathing in and out of the nostrils intensely. And as long as you focus the very forceful exhalation out of your nostrils, you'll notice the inhalation comes naturally. The breath is not quite even necessarily. It doesn't feel like that. Sometimes it feels a little bit smaller of an inhale, but try and make it even as possible. That's my recommendation. That helps keep that balance as well as keep in that circulation of flow. So what breath of fire looks like, I'm going to show you an example, and then we're going to move into the process and begin. So it's going to look like this. A nice long spine. You can't tell, but it almost feels like a pumping of the belly as you kind of contract and release and contract and release. Just noticing, and again, as long as you stay intentional on those forceful exhales, for the most part, it starts to be a little bit more manageable and equality and even out for you. So if you feel like you're going too fast, begin to shift that focus on that forceful exhalation. All right, and without further ado, just finally beginning these spinal flexes. So we're just gonna inhale in. Remembering to follow your own pace. Maybe noticing some uncomfortability, maybe noticing some heat building. I invite you to push through the uncomfortability, pumping those exhales. Really focusing on arching that spine, keeping that chin neutral and straight. And taking a nice long deep breath in, keeping the spine straight. Holding at the top of the breath. So holding the breath, inviting in that root lock if it feels good. And exhale, letting it all go. And inhale in, hold at the top once again. And exhale, let it all go. And just keeping your eyes closed or off in a distant gaze. Just beginning to turn into the body. Maybe noticing some sensations beginning to flow about the body. Maybe beginning to feel a little bit more liveliness and activity within your body. And as I mentioned, we are working with that feminine and the masculine. When we are in the masculine and we are directing the body with what to do, as in those forceful inhalations and exhalations and movement with them, we're moving from that structured masculine form. And at this time, and in these times of in-between active postures and being, these are just important, where we sit and receive. Allow our bodies to receive the work we just did. We become in that Shakti, we come in that feminine, and we're able to be within our energy and allow our energy to rise even further than it would if we just kept going. Just breathing in, as I said, the importance of this receiving time, where you're able to be in a little bit more stillness. And just letting the gaze go, opening the eyes if they aren't already. As we connect with our breath even more, you'll start to feel maybe even more heat, more energy. This is all that's available to us always. That comes with this Kundalini. It comes with our divine energy. But it is dormant until we activate and awaken it. We get this energy to move. So continuing to use breath, sound, and movement to activate this divinity within us. We're just going to begin to open up the heart and the chest even more. I'm going to invite you to bring your arms straight up in front of you, bent at the elbows at a 90 degree. Almost looks like we are closing a book with our arms as we bring them close together, and then we're going to do this motion of bringing them open. So really creating that book feel with our arms. Starting with our elbows close together, we're going to open on our inhales, protruding our heart space out. And on those exhales, quickly closing, bringing those elbows and palms almost to touch, but not quite. Inhaling and closing on the exhales. Again, moving in and out the nose. This is the motion that we're going to do, and we are going to begin again at a slower pace, and then get up to the pace of breath of fire. Again, if my pace of breath of fire does not match yours, that is okay. Listen to your body and your being. We're going to inhale, bringing those arms up if they aren't already. Engaging in that root lock, maybe doing a Kegel and letting it go if you cannot hold the Kegel. And we're just going to begin. As I open the heart space open, I like to imagine me clearing the energy from my heart space, clearing any energy out of my heart chakra that needs to be removed, that is without balance at this time. And maybe beginning to pick up the pace now. Moving through any uncomfortability, maybe feeling that heat build. Listening to your body though, doing what you need. And just becoming the open arms on your inhale, holding at the top of the breath, doing that root lock. And when you exhale, I want you to wave your arms in that same path on your exhale, going as fast as you can. Inhaling in, up, opening the arms wide once again, holding at the top of the breath. And on your exhale, flapping them back and forth as quickly as you can. Back and forth, back and forth. Continuing, pushing through a little bit more. And inhaling, arms open, chest open. Exhale, audible release, let go of even the arms as they drag down that auric field. Maybe again, beginning to feel that heat start to build, knowing that this is all just product of working with the Kundalini, activating your energy within yourself. Oftentimes we are talking about kind of the masculine and the feminine and working with those in unity. And Kundalini can create that space to do so. As I said, when we're in this motion of having our body do and perform, we are in our masculine, and when we are just being in our body, we are in the feminine. I'm going to invite us to begin to tee our arms out and then bringing our elbows into touch. And if it feels better to just kind of have our arms in the cactus position that we had, bent at the elbows, that's okay too. Again, listening to your body, this is your choice. I like to bring my palms flat on top of my shoulder blades and keeping my arms straight out. We're going to inhale in and again engage that root. And for this next one, we're going to just create balance within that left side and right side of the body. So as we inhale, we're going to look towards the right, opening the chest up towards the right. And as we exhale, we're going to move towards the left, turning the chest towards the left. The right side is how we receive energy, and the left side is how we give energy. And just using this posture to really create balance within that give and receive of our own lives and beings. So we're just, and again, beginning maybe at a slower pace, and if at any time you need to drop the arms and try and stay with the breath, or stay with the breath, drop the arms, just listening to your body, knowing that maybe it's okay to let go at some times. So when you're ready, just going to inhale in through the nose towards the right, exhale out the nose towards the left. Really focusing on that twist in the upper spine. And trust me guys, I know how uncomfortable some of this is. By all means, it's not my favorite thing sometimes, but when we push through that uncomfortability, that's where the magic really starts to happen. Where we really feel that Kundalini energy rising. We can feel it breaking through those valves of our body, allowing it to flow everywhere. So just pushing through any uncomfortability, listening to the body and what it can take, just listening like, oh, is this uncomfortable and I don't want to do it, or no, I need to back out now. Maybe picking up the pace. Just a little bit longer here, pushing through a little bit more. And inhale in, coming to neutral spine in the middle, keeping the arms where they are, holding at the top of the breath. Exhale, letting the breath go, staying in position. And inhaling again, holding at the top, creating that root lock. And exhale, letting it go. Just beginning to come down flat on your back. Letting yourself begin to receive. When we're working with that upper body and the chest. Working within that lung capacity. We're often running into stored emotions, feelings, as well as even memories. And when we're in this time of receiving, of being, we can just be with those emotions, those feelings, or maybe even those memories. Letting what is begin to arise just and continue to flow. And again, maybe just noticing some uncomfortability in the body. And just saying hello to that uncomfortability at this time. Saying hello and welcome this portion of yourself. Welcome uncomfortable aspect of my body. Just show it love and show it that it's okay to feel this way. And when you're ready, just beginning to flip over to your belly. Taking your time to get there, not a rush. Beginning to just place your head onto the mat, placing your forehead down. And just feeling into the connection points of your front side body as it feels the support of the ground underneath you. And as you inhale, begin to lift yourself up, placing your elbows underneath the shoulders, bringing your arms out to almost make as if they're an 11, bringing the legs together tight, almost as if you were in a zipper and zippering them up. And we're just going to begin to meet in Sphinx. This might be good enough for you today. You might realize this is active enough. This is enough stretch. This is good for you. To begin to activate and connect with your Kundalini even more, we're going to begin to engage the full body as we do breath of fire. If you would like a little bit more, know that you can also come into a up dog, just a higher cobra. Personally, for me, this gets a little bit tiring, and especially when I'm talking and trying to cue, so I'll be doing it down from Sphinx pose, but really listening to what you have available today. So we're just going to begin with a nice inhale in, nice long, loud, audible exhale. And on your next inhale in, we will begin breath of fire. So inhale. Staying present and active within the whole body still as you're pushing yourself up, pumping that belly still as you're using the breath of fire, forcefully exhaling out the nose. Pushing through any of that uncomfortability. You are strong, you are capable. Pushing through just a little bit longer, staying strong, strong, strong in that breath. And nice inhale in, keeping your body in position, holding that kegel, holding the tongue to the roof of the mouth, creating that root lock, that mula bandha lock. And exhale, let it all go. Coming to lie flat on your stomach, putting your chin to the mat, whatever chin feels best, keeping your arms long down in front of you. I'm just breathing in here. Staying with the breath. We have over 72,000 nadis, which are just energetic channels in our body. And as you sit and lie in this space, maybe noticing if you can feel channels of flow in your body. And if you can't, that's okay too. Staying present with what your awareness is. Allowing yourself to be in surrender. Starting to find your monkey mind wander, your tasks for the day to begin to come up, I invite you to bring your presence back to your breath. On the next inhale in, just beginning to place your palms underneath the shoulders and beginning to lift yourself up, back into rock pose. So we're going to bring our sits bones on our heels, coming to sit down. And if this isn't comfy for you, know that that's totally okay. You don't need to sit in this position. But we're just going to begin to come to rock pose. And we're going to begin a sat kriya. We're going to begin to use chanting in this motion, and we're going to be using Sat Nam. Sat Nam is truth is my identity. And this can be a very great mantra and chant to come back to, always to connect back with yourself, as well as to really connect with your third eye and see more clearly once again. So as we sit in this kriya, I'm going to invite us to bring our palms together at heart center in prayer. And we're now going to begin to fold our fingers over one another, leaving the index fingers straight and pointed. You'll notice your left thumb is over your right, or your right is over your left. As I said, the left side of the body is the feminine, our moon energy, and the right side is our masculine, the sun energy. I invite you to just notice at this time, to see how it feels and what thumb you put up immediately. For me personally, I am always working in the feminine, and so it's natural for me to place my left over the right. If you want, maybe switch it up. Try what isn't natural for you as we begin. But I'm just going to have us inhale our arms straight up as we keep our hands in this position, as if we're keeping our arms by our ears, if that's comfortable. If it's not, take a nice exhale and let those elbows and those shoulder blades fall from the ear. We don't need to be up tight like this, but just having a nice interline directive motion is the idea here. This is a very active and engaging kriya posture, even though we may be just sitting. But what we will be doing, we will say sat, and as we pronounce sat, which is S-A-T and almost sounds like sut, we will actually be pushing our belly button forward. It creates a micro movement within the hips. And when we finish, we say nam, and we end up pushing the belly button towards the back of the spine, creating another micro movement in the hips back. So I'm going to turn to the side, give you a nice view of it really quick, and then we'll begin. So it's going to look like sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam. So protruding that belly button out as you was wearing our sat, kind of pronounced sut, S-U-T sound almost in the English language. And as we do nam, that N-A-M, we're going to be engaging the belly button back, really engaging the core. So again, bringing those palms together, index fingers pointed up, noticing which thumb is over which, and just beginning to raise the arms up directly. Just taking a nice inhale in, audible exhale out, and beginning to engage that root lock, elongating the spine, and beginning when you're ready. Sat, nam, 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 sat. Inhale in. Long, straight spine, holding at the top of the breath, doing that Mula Bandha lock. Pointing your fingers straight up, reaching long, long, long. Releasing the breath, keeping the posture. Inhale in, pointing those fingers long, long, long. And exhale, release, letting go of the arms, releasing the breath. And maybe staying in that position or just coming to a nice, comfortable, seated position and coming to a few deep breaths here. As you guys even heard with me, as I'm working through this and the energy is moving through me, my chanting begins to change, my pace begins to change. I'm just noticing what those changes are in your body as you follow along here. And just beginning to bring the legs out wide in front of you. We don't need to be doing like a middle split or anything like that, but just bringing them wide enough, maybe kind of feeling that active, feeling a little bit of stretch or so forth. We're going to inhale, really elongate that spine up. Reaching the arms up straight overhead. And as we exhale, we're just gonna move, turning towards whatever leg you choose to begin on, and turning towards that side and exhaling, coming down. We're not gonna bring the knee to nose or anything like that, but just bending at the hips. And as you inhale, coming up, bringing the body center. And as you exhale, turning towards that opposite side and coming down. Inhaling up, exhaling, coming back down. And just beginning to move at your own pace, moving from side to side. be very monumentally fast, just really intentional. Intentional with your movement, intentional with your breath. As we're bending and folding forward, we're creating compression in those organs, in the stomach and so forth, and allowing that detoxification to happen. Lots of detoxifying in Kundalini. As we push this energy up and through our body, we're also pushing things up and out of our body. And just going a little bit longer, maybe picking up the pace a little bit here. Staying strong, maybe trying a root lock if you are not already. And coming up to a nice long spine, inhaling those arms up, reaching as far as you can. Holding that nice Mula Bandha lock. Exhale, letting go of the breath, staying in position. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Holding that lock. Exhale, release and letting it go. Maybe shaking out the arms. Releasing. And one of these a little bit more intense postures that we'll be finishing with right now is called the ego eradicator. When we are working with the Kundalini energy, we are also working with the ego. Working with our divine energy, it often can get caught in the ego, and we're working through with these things. You might notice different ego-based emotions arising, and just noticing how that feels, where it's coming from, and just staying present with it. Again, this is all normal. For this ego eradicator, coming to a nice seated position, we're gonna bring our arms out to nice 45-degree angle or so, kind of away from our ears a little bit, maybe a little bit less, up more. But dropping the shoulders from the ears and just beginning to fold and curl those four fingers in, almost as you're about to touch the palm, almost as if you're gonna make a fist, but not quite touching the palm, and leaving the thumbs out. The thumb is the ego, represented in our hands and our digits, and so leaving that out as we connect with ourselves here. And just beginning to nice inhale in, long audible exhale, and as you inhale this next time, this is when we'll begin a breath of fire, doing the ego eradicator. Really leaning into any uncomfortability, pushing through. If you need to drop the arms but stay with the breath, do so. If you can't keep up with the breath, but try and keep the arms, just push, push, push. You can do this. Nice long inhale in. Keeping the arms where they are, opening up wide. Exhale, release, letting it all go. Maybe shaking it out. I'm just beginning to come down to a flat spine on your back. Taking a few deep breaths here in Shavasana. Noticing what's alive or active within you now after that practice. And on an inhale in, bringing the knees to chest, giving yourself a nice tight squeeze and hug. And as you exhale, dropping the knees over to one side, beginning to tee the arms out, coming into a spinal twist. Maybe even looking over the opposite shoulder. Just doing some final detoxifying ring outs. Again, as we're bringing this energy up through our body, we're also bringing and pulling things up to the surface of our bodies. And it's our responsibility to continue to allow them to flow out, to be released, to detoxify from our body. And inhaling, coming back to center, bringing the knees up, and on an exhale, dropping them back to the other side now. Gazing over that opposite shoulder if that's what you did last time. And just breathing here. And inhaling, giving yourself a nice little squeeze once again. And exhale, coming down to surrender into Shavasana. If there's anything that your body needs or desires at this time before Shavasana, please answer it. Please do so. Otherwise, just coming down to meet in our final resting posture. Allowing the effects of this practice to continue to seep and be rewarded through our vessel and being. Just beginning to scan the body. Noticing how it feels now in this new time and space and moment compared to when we first sat down and checked into our vessels today. And if you can stay here even longer, really just soaking this time up, allowing your body to reap the rewards and benefits of this practice. I recommend to pause, close the video, just stay here a little while longer. If you're unable to stay longer and it's time to go, just beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes, beginning to do a nice long morning stretch, arms up overhead, long full body stretch. And just beginning to roll onto your favorite side, coming into fetal position, bringing the knees towards the chest. Using the arm and support underneath the head. And as we sit in this posture of birth and renewal. Just noticing what's anew within you now. Maybe what gave newness inside of your body during this practice. And on an inhale, just beginning to rise. Ease your body up into a nice seated position. And we're just going to inhale, gather this energy that's around us in our auric field, gathering it up overhead, meeting our palms together to touch, bringing them down to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like this practice. Please be sure to leave comments about how it made you feel today below. And again, if you enjoyed it, please like it, please share it. Subscribe for more as well. And thank you again for joining me on your mat today. And I look forward to more. Bye.